How's everybody today? Welcome back to another fly tying amazing experience here at Spawn Fly Fish. And today you're going to be tying along with me, Pete, as we get into some outrageously big bugs here. And as you can see, that's not really the case. We're going to tie one of my favorite midge patterns that absolutely just slays fish. It's a little cold in our area right now. Makes me reminisce about winter fishing back in Arizona, all that good stuff. There's a time and place for midges, and this would be it. So let's get into it. In the vise today, I have something a little bit different than what you're used to seeing. This is a Daiichi hook, the Daiichi 1120 to be exact. This is a size 18. So for the bead, I do have a simple Dazzle brass bead from Hareline, and this is the 2 millimeters. So this is pretty small. I think that's a 5/64. And then I've got 4 wraps of .015 lead-free wire in here. And today we're not going to just tie the regular boring midge. I am going to tie this in my own bubble style, meaning the bubble wing and all that. But let's get some thread going here, and keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is going to be slightly different than what you're used to seeing, maybe slightly different than what you even have at home, but I bet you have something close. So for the threads today, I'm going to use 2 different threads. They're both 14/aught, and they're from a company called Sheer, or the brand is Sheer. But that's neither here nor there. We do offer Vivas down to outrageously small sizes, even the 30 denier and the white and black. So like, there's no excuse to not tie small flies. We got what you need. Just give us a shout or hit us on the web and we'll get you squared away. So this is olive. That's important. Olive base with a red rib was one of the most amazing early fly patterns that put me into fish, even when I didn't necessarily know why or know what I was doing and all that good stuff. It was one of those confidence patterns that just, you know, it worked. My mentor told me, hey, if you want to catch more fish, this is the cut. And I tried it, and boy, he was right. So here we have, for that rib I was talking about, that red rib, we're going to tie it in early and use it for that bubble wing. But this is extra small ultra wire in red. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of that. And as you see, I'm going the wrong direction here, right? I'm going out over that eye. So just forgive my fingers here for a second. This is pretty small on that camera, but I want this wire essentially sitting on your side of middle, right? So towards you guys ever so slightly on the top of that shank, and then watch as I'm going to guide that and just gently start pulling. Don't have to pull it all the way snug up, like that is fine. I just, leave a little tag there so I don't lose this wire. And now I'm going to start adding some tension here, a little more pressure as I get above the weighted wire. And I'm utilizing the spaces of the weighted wire to pull my thread and this ribbing wire in a little bit better so that it seats a little better all around. Alright, so here's another fun part, and we'll be bringing something equivalent to this bead in soon here at Spawn. I'm pretty excited about that. And this is a number 15 glass bead in clear. Just want to slip that onto the wire, and now if you watch right above that head, boom, there it is. Slip it down. This is key. When I tied that last wrap right up behind the bead, I'm going to pull down on my thread to maintain that pressure so that when I pull this wire back, everything doesn't get lost on me, and then I can come up and catch the wire. The key here is now that wire is on my side of center. So we have that tag end on your side, the working end on my side. And why does that matter? Well, we're going to tie it all down and get it tied back. That's a little bit long for the tag. And now we've really got it solidified. Let me cut some of that out and get a little cute with the scissors. And prop it up and just nip. There we go. Much less material to tie down. All that good stuff. I just want to get some wraps past the tag, and then I'll start coming back up. So this is, as far as I know, I've been tying this style bubble wing for a very long time. I think I'm the only one that ties for the most part this way. Everybody else has the bead facing the other direction, but I just like that everything is in line. There's the same wire that you use to apply the bubble is going to be used as your rib, so there's an efficiency in the movement there. All right, great. So I'm going to spin my bobbin now counterclockwise, and I'm going to flatten or relax my thread a little. And now as we come back up, get those X wraps around that bead and wire, and then I'm just going to work a full pass now, all the way down for what I want to be my working body on this little midge. And as a guide, I kind of look at the barb of the hook, and in general it's going to be pointing at roughly the same point on most hooks in a series. And so I'm going to use that as my gauge and kind of watch that as the end of the body. The other thing here is the vise, right? You can only go so far down without getting into that and bumping and everything. So that's a good indicator. Just make sure you're putting your fly or your hook in the same spot each time, and then you'll get that same measurement. Forgive me for I keep turning this vise so I can see the overall look on this guy. Again, I'm just looking at the amount of bulk from the thread. Right? I don't want to eat all that usable space up. All right, this is another little weird spot here. We're going to add a whip finish, and for those of you who still don't know what the whip finish does, my thread back here is where we started that guy, and so as I pull this up, instead of just pulling it tight right away, I'll get the tool out, and do you see that little bit of thread right there? I'm not going to pull down. The thread started this direction, way behind the bead, the wing. Now watch, as I pull that, there's the end of that whip finish. So you see it's not an up and down knot. It's more moving horizontally, meaning the start of it is back here. And that's what gives you the strength of a whip finish. All right, now let me go to some shenanigans. And here is some of that 14-aught again in black this time. And this is a big deal. When these these midge pupa are in the water, a lot of times they're going to have the thorax that's very dark. They're going to have these white breathing filaments, which is where the white bead comes in. Again, not only does it get our fly down, but now it acts as a representation, if you will, of those breathing filaments. So you get the recognition in the natural coming through in our fly. All right, so for this wire, I tie a lot of these guys, or used to, and so I know on this particular fly, we're gonna have 5 working wraps there, and then I'm just gonna catch this last one, and I don't want to disturb the wing a lot, right? And what I mean by that is 2 wraps here. That's all it takes to solidify that, and then I pull that wire back. At this point, I want to get my scissors right in here so that when I cut the ribbing wire, it's not going to go back very far, and just gives me enough material to grab with that first wrap of thread that goes behind the wing. So we've got 2 in front of the wing. Here's that behind, in front, behind. So you see we're building these little X's into our fly, but what we want to make sure is that we're watching our wire and getting full thread coverage on the front portion there. We don't want to see those wires poking through. At least keep it as clean as possible. And there's one spot right under that bubble. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get this thing whip finished. So again, on these, I like to start the whip finish back here behind the wing and then bring it in front. And what it does is, at least for me, it leaves a smoother finish in here, especially on the underside of that thorax. We don't need any unruly bumps for no reason. Just one whip finish. We're going to come in and coat this entire fly instead of just the head. I don't know where I caught that little fringe of thread, but there it is. So that's your finished fly. How do we make this thing indestructible? It's a thread fly. There's, those little rainbow trout and brown trout teeth are going to shred that up pretty quickly. So that's where we get into a little bit of resin. And especially for these little guys, I love Loon Flow. Thin is okay if you can control it, and with that I mean I'm usually putting it in a different applicator at that point to do something this small, right? It's is tiny work. You don't need much of this. We're not trying to make it swim in this, if you will. We're just getting enough on there to coat all the thread. I give it a couple happy taps on the vise there, and then we come in with our UV light, and we're just going to cure this bad boy up. So I won't bore you with the entire process of curing that, but you get the idea. So stick that UV light on there, cure that resin thoroughly. This thing will be like a miniature little rock when it's done, and it will catch more fish than you can imagine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. There's another little secret glimpse into the world of what I consider my confidence flies, even if I'm not fishing for those species right at this moment. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, by all means, please hit that like button. Please hit subscribe, and we will see you all on the water.